The old joke used to be that people in Multnomah County never met a tax they didn't love. Well, that appears to be changing. Last night, voters overwhelmingly rejected a new tax that would have funded eviction lawyers. I mean, seriously, turned the thing down. A whopping 80% of voters said no to Measure 26238.
We were pleasantly surprised by this outcome. In fact, you can go as far back to 2011, the last time a local tax measure was defeated in our community. And I think it should be sending a message right now to policymakers and leaders in the public that you have to work with business in the community to make sure that when you're increasing costs and making investments, that they're done in the right and appropriate way. Because just adding additional burden on households, on businesses, on seniors is probably not the right path right now. And voters are sending a very distinct measure that they know what they want our public officials to be investing in right now.
That was Andrew Hone with the Portland Business Alliance. That group's been fighting hard against the measure. Their State of the Economy report for this year showed that Portland's tax burden has climbed to the second highest in the nation, right behind New York City, which has much higher earners. They say taxes for businesses increased 32% from 2019 to 2021. And in that same time period, 12,000 people left Multnomah County, while many people started choosing Clark County instead. The measure would have raised about $12 to $15 million a year for people facing eviction. Hone told us that the PBA is not against the measure itself, not necessarily against legal representation for people facing eviction, but that this was the wrong way to go about it. Now, Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler is trying to freeze some city tax increases and also rates for other services. This afternoon, Mayor Wheeler went over his budget for next year, and he added several amendments that would freeze some city taxes and fees for an entire year. He wants to freeze system development charges for the next year. Those are one-time fees for new development in the city. He also wants to reduce the increases that had been proposed for water and sewer services. He also wants to freeze parking meter rates where they are instead of increasing them by 40 cents an hour, which was approved by the City Council last year.
We want people to stay. And I think people acknowledge that we are at an inflection point in our city. And studies now show that people are choosing not to stay here. They're moving their households, they're moving their places of employment, and they're choosing to invest elsewhere. We're at an inflection point, and I see this as a critical moment in the city's history, an unusual, unprecedented moment in the city's history that we should respond to. And from my perspective, at a time when we are fairly begging people to come to downtown Portland and see that we have improved the situation, and we have, there's still a ton of work to do, but we have improved the situation, and studies show that when people come to downtown Portland, they are twice as likely to have a favorable impression of the city of Portland than prior to coming to downtown Portland. So it's really important at this moment in our history for us not to send mixed signals to say, come to downtown Portland, and oh, by the way, we're increasing the parking meter rates 40% per hour. To me, that just seems inconsistent.
Wheeler said the reductions and freezes would only affect a small amount of the budget for each of the bureaus. But Commissioners Mingus Mapps and Renee Gonzalez weren't buying it. They both voted against the freezes, saying they would result in city workers losing jobs, also services being reduced, and harm to city infrastructure. And they think the freezes would not actually change enough for people, only a few dollars per month. In the end, the mayor did get his way on the water and sewer tax reduction and the development fee freeze. But the commissioners voted not to pause parking fee increases, which means the parking rates are going to go up by 20 cents an hour instead of 40.